So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped on to Twitters. And I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy. And I saw a live. And I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, are saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back is basically what you were saying. That's what you thought. It's still going right now, and I'm not going to post a link to it because I don't want to give these people a voice. But they think they're in a safe space on Twitter. They're not.
So I know I was talking about, the Latino vote before. The Viva vote for Donald Trump. Okay, well, let's get on to the white folks. The white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get black Americans in the fields. Because they also thought black folks did not have jobs. So when we put this all together, somehow the white farmers were convinced that black folks don't have jobs. We don't work. we don't work. And so they voted for Donald Trump because they thought, okay, he gonna send them in the fields. So Donald Trump and them, with that whole Project 2025, said, okay, so we got to make this happen. So we got to cut these DEI stuff, all this DEI stuff, to put black Americans out of work. When in reality, they put a bunch of white folk out of work just to get black folks out of work. And so all these cuts that are happening are to try and harm black Americans so much till they think that we're going to go into the fields. Now, when you think about that, that makes you double back and see why they want the Latinos out. Because the Latinos, right, to them, they are reproducing entirely too fast, okay? And so they're like, we got to get them out of here because black Americans don't reproduce as fast as the Latinos. And so if we could get them out, then the black Americans can take their place in the field. This is for real. And so now you double back to the black jobs. They're taking your job. Yes, you got to double back to what he said. They're taking black jobs, y'all. Like, they have all this down. Like, they have all this whole circle. So now let's go back to the farmers if you're still with me, okay? Because the white farmers, that's what they believed was going to happen. So if y'all got all that straight, this is the message to the white farmers. The last thing you want is for black Americans to be in your fields. Don't let the devil fool you. As a matter of fact, you might want to let the devil fool you to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm trying to tell you, the last thing you ever going to want is black Americans in your fields. Nah, I'm going to let you fill in the blank on that one. And this goes to show that they will go to any lengths. Remember I said that, first of all, we had the Latinos, some Latinos, not all of them, just them Cuban ones, talk about you're next, right? To black Americans. So they thought we was immigrants, okay? And so now we have the white farmers who are still living in the 1700s, thinking back to glory days, quote unquote. They thought with their vote, we were going to the fields. So you got one group thinking they gonna kick us out of here, and we got another group of people thinking that we going to the fields. Now this right here is a real mental problem because people are literally stuck. I'm telling y'all, people are stuck in the 1700s when they think about Black Americans. Okay, to I'm telling you, their thought process, they sit around probably campgrounds and picnics and stuff and talk about how can we make this happen. That was their heyday. I'm telling you, when that freaking plantation house burned down in Louisiana, I think, right? That was their heyday. Now I'm trying to tell you, that was their heyday. When that plantation house down in Louisiana got torched, okay? I'm telling you, that broke them. But I just want to, you know what? I want to teach them a little bit more history if I have your attention, right? If I have your attention, right? This is some history that a lot of people don't know, okay? But y'all didn't know Black Americans had white servants. Y'all ain't know that. I mean, it wasn't widespread or anything like that, but we had white servants. Yeah, and they wanted to be our servants because they needed work. They were coming over from Europe. Yeah, and they were docile too. Yeah, they were docile, and Black Americans, the aristocrats, mm-hmm, the wealthy ones, because there were wealthy ones. Okay, they had white servants. So I don't know if y'all ever see them pictures. Let me find a picture. I couldn't find a picture. I wasn't gonna go back and try to find a picture, but if you can watch videos, you'll be able to find a picture of possibly some Black people in the horse-drawn carriages, and there may be someone white as the horseman or the coach. I'm not sure what you call them, coachman or whatever. Yeah, he worked for them. Yes, indeed. It was a big thing. It was a big thing, when everybody began to see in the early 1900s, what? Black Americans, they use the other word. Black Americans have white servants. Yeah, that's a bit of history they don't like to put on TV. And the reason for it is because they were like, okay, they had white people here that they could hire, and they also had Black people here that they could hire. But they felt that the white people from Europe were so docile, and they were less expensive. Now, they weren't the only ones who thought that. The wealthy white people thought that too. The wealthy white people were like, yeah, we like the docile immigrant white people. They're a lot cheaper. They take less money. Yeah, so there's a bit of history for you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was like that. Oh yeah, because they knew they would have to pay Black Americans a lot more. Lot more. So they always went for the immigrant. And see, when the Black Americans hired the white immigrants, they were like really like, yes, we will do it. Yes, we will do it, because they want to stay in America. Here's the difference though. Black Americans didn't mistreat them. They didn't mistreat them at all. But anyway, that's just a little side note. But yeah, to the white farmers again, this is the last thing you want. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be out in your fields. The last thing you want. Trust and believe. And next time, you know what? Stop basing your vote on how to harm Black Americans, because you're gonna end up running into that wall that's gonna tumble. Okay? That's what's gonna end up happening. Stop doing that. All of you do it. Like, all of you. You had the conservative Asian Americans coming through with the whole Ivy League school. We don't want Black Americans there. Then you had the I will vote for Donald Trump Cubans, okay, who were thinking, okay, you're next, okay. Okay, we're not immigrants, so we're not next. And now we have the white farmer who thought that they were going to get the Black Americans in the fields. And then this is all off of Project 2025. So now look where you got America. Look where you got the United States of America. And a lot of people say, why Black Americans think everything revolves around them? No, y'all think everything revolves around us because y'all make everything revolve around us. Y'all stuff coming out.
Girl.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms. I want to give you guys an
losing their
update on
farms.
what we
That's what
figured out with
happened.
our contractor, NRCS. So to give you some backstory, if you haven't watched the previous video, please go out, watch that previous video I've got on there. We are possibly going to lose our farm if NRCS doesn't hold up their contract with us on the EQIP program.
So y'all ready to talk about Acre Trader now? You didn't know Acre Trader is a company that invests in farms that are failing. And considering that most of our farms are going to be failing soon because they're going to lose their subsidies from the federal government, it's interesting that the number one donor into this company is none other than JD Vance. Isn't that weird? Basically, Acre Trader allows private investors to invest in failing farms and buy up the land together as a team, you know? Get together with your buddies. And good old JD Vance, yep, he heavily invested in this Acre Trader. I'm sure pulling the federal funds away from farmers doesn't have anything to do with that. That would be crazy, right? Like, why would the vice president invest in a company who was going to spend money to grab up farmland and take away their federal farming money so that way they could lose their farms? That would not. Come on, guys. Don't be ridiculous.
Damn. Holy hell, kid.
Oh, AM PM staffing service posted this on Facebook because they're looking for farm pickers, and these are the terms right here. The comments, I'm gonna show y'all some of the comments. The comments, Lord have mercy.
My fingers are killing me. Yeah, my toes are numb too. Hello, gringos.
Y'all better check on your husbands if they come back from the job site looking like this. There were no more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in, and now he looking like he's allergic to the sun. He is so stunned, both him and his wife are speechless. Y'all, that sun is not playing out there. Look at this guy over here. You think the sun is playing out in Mexico as well? Look at this. He created a whole shade hat with cardboard because his little bucket hat was not doing the job. And that's not all, y'all. The sun has been so bad, this company had to hire extra men to hold up this tarp on this roof so they can nail in the shingles in peace. The sun is out here playing no games. It is putting out God level radiation, man. Look at this. This man got a whole snowsuit on, y'all. Look at this. What? How do you guys feel about snow gear in 100-degree weather? Would you do it? Could you?
Alright, racists, let's talk. Black people have been warning us about this very moment for a very long time. So if you're not black or if you're not melanated, you might want to pay attention. UV radiation is the biggest proponent of sunburn. The UV index scale is measured from 0 to 13, 13 being the most extreme. If you do not have eumelanin or neuromelanin, this is very dangerous for you. Currently, the only people who have both of those things are black people. If you do not have those things, at the scale of 3 to 5, that becomes dangerous. Extremely dangerous, to the point where you will get sunburn, premature aging, even skin cancer. As you can see at the very bottom, it says the UV index ranges from 0, minimal risk, to 11 plus, which is very high risk. Which brings me to my next point. Well, starting next week, June 5th, it will be an 11, according to the World Health Organization, who is supposed to tell you these things, and they're not telling you these things. you will be experiencing an 11, which is extreme. Oh, but wait, this will also be happening on Friday and on Saturday. So let me remind you that black people have been warning you for a very, very, very long time when they didn't have to. So if you are not black, there's not a sunscreen that can protect you from the UV radiation.
Skin cancers occur at different rates in different racial ethnic groups in America. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention published data on cancer rates, including that of skin cancer. They break the data down into 6 groups. The cancer rates for white, non-Hispanic Americans, for white Hispanic Americans, for Hispanic Americans, for Black Americans, for American Indians and Alaska Native Americans, and for Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Americans. The skin cancer rate for white, non-Hispanic Americans far outpaces the skin cancer rate for any other group. It's 5 times higher than the rate for American Indians and for Alaska Native Americans. It's 6 times higher than the rate for white Hispanic Americans and for Hispanic Americans. It's 21 times higher than the rate for Asian Americans and for Pacific Islander Americans. And it's a whopping 28 times higher than the rate for Black Americans.
Sunburns are nature's way of letting white people know that you guys are immigrants too. Right? The sun's like, hey, go back to where you came from. England's cloudy for a reason.